Today's experience was one that surpassed all expectations, a vivid, unforgettable adventure that stirred the very core of my being. The African bush, that boundless, untamed expanse of land, was alive with a symphony of sounds. Each bird call, every rustle of leaves, and the low rumble of distant thunder was a reminder of the wild beauty of this place. There is something magnetic about the African wilderness, something that pulls you in and makes you feel as though you are a small but integral part of a much greater, ancient rhythm that has been beating for millennia. The day began with the promise of adventure, the air warm with the scent of earth, grass, and distant rains. Our guide led us deep into the heart of the bush, the landscape gradually shifting as we moved further away from the safety of the vehicles. We were now on foot, surrounded by the sound of the wind whispering through the trees, a chorus of birds greeting the morning, and the soft hum of life all around us. It felt as though we were entering a different world, one where time slowed down, and the rhythm of nature took center stage. Our first encounter of the day was something so profound it felt almost like fate. We came upon a clearing where the long, golden grasses swayed in the breeze, and there, standing amidst the high brush, was a lion. Its eyes glinted with a predatory focus, and its powerful form blended seamlessly with the landscape, a perfect example of nature's camouflage. For a moment, it was as if we were invisible, caught in the quiet tension of the scene. The lion was stalking its prey, a zebra, grazing obliviously nearby. The predator's every move was deliberate, calculated. We watched, holding our breath, as the lion crouched low to the ground, its massive muscles rippling beneath its tawny coat. The zebra, still unaware, continued to nibble at the grasses, its head down, oblivious to the silent, approaching danger. The entire moment felt suspended in time, as if the world had narrowed down to this one life-or-death struggle unfolding before us. Then, in an instant, the lion sprang from its hiding place, a blur of motion and raw power. The chase was fierce, the lion's powerful legs propelling it forward with astonishing speed, while the zebra galloped away in a desperate attempt to escape. The air was thick with the rush of the chase, the pounding of hooves, the low growl of the lion, and the crashing of branches as the animals weaved through the bush. It was a moment of survival, primal and raw, where only one would walk away. The zebra fought with every ounce of strength, its hooves striking the earth in an effort to outrun the lion, but the predator's skill was unmatched. In the end, it was the lion's persistence, its sharp instincts, and its raw power that triumphed. The zebra's struggle was over in a flash, and the predator stood victorious. There was no joy in the lion's eyes, no exultation, just the quiet certainty that this was the way of life in the wild. The circle of life, both beautiful and harsh, was playing out before us in all its intensity. It was a reminder of the brutality that shapes the African wilderness, where survival is never guaranteed, and only the strongest endure. As we processed what we had just witnessed, a sudden shift in the atmosphere took place. From the edge of the clearing, we saw a large shadow moving toward us. It was impossible to miss, the silhouette of an elephant, its enormous form towering over the landscape, moving with a grace that seemed to defy its size. The contrast between the lion's violent hunt and the elephant's peaceful presence was striking, yet it perfectly embodied the harmony of life in the bush. The elephant approached us slowly, its massive ears flapping gently in the breeze. Its deep, intelligent eyes met ours, and for a brief moment, it felt as if the entire world had stopped. The elephant moved with quiet dignity, unhurried and serene, its presence so powerful it seemed to command respect. There was no fear, no aggression, just a silent acknowledgement of our presence. It was as if the elephant was greeting us, acknowledging us as part of the landscape, not as intruders but as fellow witnesses to the wonders of the wild. It was a surreal experience, watching this great creature come closer with every passing second. The elephant's trunk swayed with each step, and the soft thud of its massive feet seemed to echo in the air. Its movements were deliberate and peaceful, and as it drew nearer, we could feel the weight of its ancient wisdom. Elephants, with their complex social structures and deep emotional bonds, are creatures of immense intelligence and empathy. It was as if this elephant, in its gentle approach, was offering a silent greeting, a moment of connection between humans and the wilderness. For several minutes, the elephant lingered nearby, its eyes studying us with curiosity. It was an unforgettable moment, the contrast between the raw power of the lion and the gentle strength of the elephant. It served as a reminder that the wild is not only a place of violence and survival but also one of peace and harmony. Both the lion and the elephant are vital threads in the intricate tapestry of life in Africa, each contributing to the delicate balance of nature in their own way. The day unfolded with other mesmerizing moments, herds of gazelles grazing in the distance, birds flitting from tree to tree, and the distant roar of a lion calling to its pride. As the sun began to dip lower in the sky, painting the horizon in shades of gold and pink, we continued our journey through the bush, reflecting on all that we had witnessed. The feeling of awe never truly left me, the images of the lion's hunt and the elephant's graceful presence forever imprinted in my mind. As the firelight flickered at the heart of our camp, casting long shadows across the open plains, the events of the day began to settle into the quiet corners of my mind. The air was cooler now, the night bringing with it a crispness that contrasted with the heat of the day. I could still hear the sounds of the wilderness in the distance, the call of a distant lion, the chatter of nocturnal creatures, and the rustle of the wind through the grass. The world felt vast, ancient, and alive, and we were mere visitors, privileged to witness a part of its raw beauty. Around the fire, our small group sat in silence for a while, each of us lost in our own thoughts, processing what we had just experienced. The lion's hunt had been a reminder of the harshness of nature, of the relentless struggle for survival that defines life in the wild. There was something deeply humbling about witnessing it, a powerful reminder that life is fragile, and yet so incredibly resilient. The zebra's fleeting moment of freedom, followed by its swift demise, had shown us the impermanence of life, and the way nature constantly balances power, beauty, and inevitability. But then the elephant had arrived, and with its arrival, it seemed as though the entire landscape had shifted. In its presence, the raw power of the lion's hunt faded into the background, replaced by something gentler, something that reminded us of the complexity of the wild. The elephant's slow, deliberate movement spoke of wisdom and longevity, of a deep understanding of the land and its creatures. It wasn't just a creature of strength, but also of grace, a protector of its own, a symbol of endurance. The elephant had not hunted or fought, yet its mere presence was a reminder of the deep balance in nature. As I sat there by the fire, the crackle of the flames filling the silence, I thought of the ways in which the animals of the African bush taught us. Each encounter, whether it was the lion's powerful hunt or the elephant's peaceful approach, had been a lesson. The lion taught us about the sheer force of survival, the need to fight, to hunt, and to endure. It spoke to the primal instincts that all creatures, human and animal alike, possess. But the elephant reminded us of a different kind of strength, the quiet kind. It was not the force of the chase, but the power of stillness, wisdom, and presence. As the stars began to appear above us, a blanket of diamonds spread across the night sky, I realized how much I had learned about life in the wild. It wasn't just about survival, it was about understanding the rhythms of nature, respecting the animals, and seeing the beauty in every moment, whether that moment was one of intense drama or gentle peace. It was about seeing the connections between all creatures, large and small, predator and prey, and understanding that each had a role to play in maintaining the delicate balance of life. The firelight flickered and danced in front of us, casting our shadows long and thin across the earth. We sat in quiet reflection, each of us touched by the day's experiences in our own way. The wilderness had unfolded itself before us like a living, breathing entity, a place where every moment was a lesson in the power, beauty, and fragility of life. As the night grew deeper, we slowly drifted off to our tents, the sounds of the bush still echoing in the air. The lion's distant roar punctuated the stillness, and the occasional rustle of grass reminded us that we were never truly alone in this vast land. The wilderness was a world of contrasts, of moments that could shift from calm to chaotic in the blink of an eye, but it was also a place of quiet wonder, where life continued in its eternal dance, forever wild, forever free. Lying beneath the canvas of stars, with the sounds of the African bush surrounding me, I felt a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the privilege of experiencing this land in all its raw beauty, for the moments that had unfolded before us, and for the wild creatures that had shared their world with us, if only for a brief time. Tomorrow, we would set out once again, eager for whatever wonders the bush would offer us next. There were still many more creatures to see, more stories to witness, and more moments to cherish in this wild and wonderful land. The adventure wasn't over, but the lessons of today, the strength of the lion, the wisdom of the elephant, and the delicate balance between them, would stay with me, guiding me through every moment of the journey ahead. The wilderness had a way of showing you things you never expected, things that were both awe-inspiring and humbling. It reminded you of the power of nature, of the necessity to respect its creatures and its rhythms. It taught you to see beauty in the small moments and the grand ones alike. And above all, it showed you that life, in all its forms, was precious and worth cherishing. As the last embers of the fire flickered out and the sounds of the night deepened, I closed my eyes, knowing that today had been a day like no other. A day when we had witnessed the raw power of nature and the quiet dignity of its creatures, a day when the wild had reached out and touched our souls. The firelight flickered and danced in front of us, casting our shadows long and thin across the earth. We sat in quiet reflection, each of us touched by the day's experiences in our own way. The wilderness had unfolded itself before us like a living, breathing entity, a place where every moment was a lesson in the power, beauty, and fragility of life. As the night grew deeper, we slowly drifted off to our tents, the sounds of the bush still echoing in the air. The lion's distant roar punctuated the stillness, and the occasional rustle of grass reminded us that we were never truly alone in this vast land. The wilderness was a world of contrasts, of moments that could shift from calm to chaotic in the blink of an eye, but it was also a place of quiet wonder, where life continued in its eternal dance, forever wild, forever free. Lying beneath the canvas of stars, with the sounds of the African bush surrounding me, I felt a deep sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the privilege of experiencing this land in all its raw beauty, for the moments that had unfolded before us, and for the wild creatures that had shared their world with us, if only for a brief time. Tomorrow, we would set out once again, eager for whatever wonders the bush would offer us next. There were still many more creatures to see, more stories to witness, and more moments to cherish in this wild and wonderful land. The adventure wasn't over, but the lessons of today, the strength of the lion, the wisdom of the elephant, and the delicate balance between them, would stay with me, guiding me through every moment of the journey ahead. The wilderness had a way of showing you things you never expected, things that were both awe-inspiring and humbling. It reminded you of the power of nature, of the necessity to respect its creatures and its rhythms.